All right. Pretty much break even day today, down about 25 bucks. This is where the morning starts, and there we go from there. But today, when I came into market, price had not yet closed this 4 hour, sorry, had not completely inversed this 4 hour fair value gap yet, but I was anticipating that price would do that, and it eventually did do that. And then coming into the open, I actually only traded no, I took one other trade, but I took about 4 trades today. I don't know, I took 3 trades today, and all of them were in pre-market. And the morning session that I was here for was not amazing. I ended up getting off relatively early because I wasn't liking what I was seeing, but in hindsight, we did have a nice little buy model up into this 4 hour inversion and then taking us back down and continuing lower. But for the morning, for trades during pre-market, I was just trading off of what I was seeing because price wasn't really going anywhere at this point. But price was running down. We had stopped, and I think we had stopped just before a low. Yes, this low, around 16,390. So I was anticipating that price would go lower, as it wasn't more than, where was that? 451. Yeah, it wasn't more than 60 points away, and that is definitely doable on NQ. But first trade was a short. Sorry, my computer's freezing. But first trade was a short that did not hit the take profit, which was down here. I had seen that price rallied up, gave no entries for a long, slowed down near this 1 minute order block and this bunch of 1 minute order blocks, and continued to fall and break down. And I entered somewhere in here with a stop above this high because if price was going to run up and close above this high, the short was not going to work. And I wanted to take it down to this low for almost a 1 to 2, but price did not hit it. And I seen we got close and started reversing. And one thing I did not account for was that ES may have already hit this low. And in fact, ES did hit the low um, down here. So I was short up here on NQ, and ES took the low, and NQ did not, and that is creates an SMT divergence. But also too, because ES hit the low, NQ does not need to hit the low. And I was not looking at ES at the time, but since ES hit the low and we were being slow, I should have gotten out of my NQ. But then right after that, so we do create an SMT and we do not sweep the low on NQ. So to me, this is looking like a small little internal buy model. So I take a long out of this inverse. We come back, we touch the inverse. I go long, stop below the candle, and targeting this internal liquidity, and price hits that nice for almost a 1 to 2. And at this point, I'm anticipating that price will continue to this terminus high to complete the buy model. And there's a tiny little baby fair value gap in here, as well as this order block. So I have my stop below, I think my stop was below mean threshold of this order block, so a little bit down here. So not awesome risk to reward, but I felt very confident that we would come and take this high and then also tap into a this ended up being a higher time frame for value gap and then hoping to go lower from there. But price did not do that. So trade was a loss. So I had a break-even trade, a win, a loss, and then price came down, swept that low, and open propelled us right to that buy side, and we tapped into, I think this is a 30-minute. Yes, a 30-minute for value gap, and price ends up running through that completely in the end. But we bounce around inside this 30-minute for a very long time. And this is not a trade I did take, but it is a trade I wanted to take, and I am not comfortable with the inverse model yet, so I did not take it, but we inversed the 1 minute, came back really close, almost touched it, and would have gotten first take profit there, and then would have got stopped the rest at break even. So that was that trade, the other one that I would have taken. And then we just ended up bouncing around in here for a while, and I ended up getting off and coming back to see that price had continued to rally up. But hindsight, looking at this now, we did have an SMT to go higher, and we did have buy side resting up here inside of a fair value gap. And price did not sweep this low near open or pre-market, but it did sweep it at open. And this looks like, let's get some boxes. This looks like our accumulation, our manipulation, and then our distribution. Looking at that in hindsight, power of 3 to go higher, but also 2, oh, do not want to do that. This looks like our accumulation for a buy model to play out. Resting, 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 accumulating. We manipulate it down, smart money reversal up, and then we continue much higher. And if we go to a 2 minute, I think you can see a little mock-up of a little buy model playing out here to get us. This buy model ended up getting us up into this 4-hour inversion. We reject the 4-hour inversion and continue down, and now we're about to form a little propulsion block, I think it may be called, to send us lower, but you can see it illustrated better on a 15-minute time frame. Little accumulation, sell model, or it is a sell model, but buy model into the 4-hour inversion, take some highs with it, and then this ends up being a sell model down to the bottom, come through, inverse the 30-minute for value gap. But that's the thing we got to remember is that time is fractal, and on a 4-hour candle, this was just a wick. But on a 5-minute, this is a sell model up into that 4-hour inversion to take us lower, which we hit our terminus, which is down there. So that was a nice completed sell model, an example of how time is very fractal. But overall, for how the day started, feeling pretty happy with my performance. The account still is up for the week, and I got 1 day left. Today we did have ADP, non-farm employment change, as well as unemployment claims, and I'm guessing that is why the morning was not favorable in price action and why it definitely cleaned up in PM. But for tomorrow, we got a lot of stuff as well. All right, so tomorrow might not be super favorable until maybe right before close, but otherwise, that's all I got today. Have a good trading day tomorrow.